but I'm going to go ahead and get this party started. For those of you who don't know me, I am Chuck Adaris with the Community Theater Association of Michigan, and we're here to introduce you to our good friends on homegrown organization of Ludus, who we've got Zachary and Kevin here from Ludus to explain all the fun features they've got. They started, I believe, basically primarily as a ticketing platform, but over the years they've grown and added so many other features like volunteer management, streaming, fundraising, you name it, they probably have it. And we're going to hand it over to them and let them explain who they are and what they can do for your organization. If you've got questions, throw them in the chat and we'll get this party going.
Thanks, Chuck.
No
Good evening,
problem.
everyone. We are really excited to welcome you all to tonight's webinar. As Chuck said, we're a Michigan-based company. We love the idea of being able to support the theater community here in our own state. Like many of you, most of my life is focused on theater. Since a 4-year-old, Kevin, was in a community theater production of Our Town, I was hooked. And so theater has been my life ever since. At Ludus, our mission is to offer a platform that is free, simple, devoid of contracts and startup fees, and we're passionately committed to listening to our community and developing tools that genuinely help theater groups focus on what they do best, create art. Giving back to the community isn't just something we say, it's truly at the heart of everything that we do. I'm particularly excited to introduce you to Zachary Collins, my co-founder here at Ludus, and the true artist and visionary behind everything we are at Ludus. Zach, take it away.
Great, thanks for the introduction. Yeah, so like Kevin said, I'm Zachary Collins. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ludus. So back when we started, like Chuck said, we started as a ticketing platform for Kevin's program, and we slowly built it, working with other area organizations, schools, community theaters, and really just ramped it up and really, listened to what our customers wanted and what the market needed. And we saw a very clear opportunity in the theater market for something better, right? Something more modern, slick, that's, mobile optimized, works great for patrons. The patron experience is really important. And now we're here with lots of great features within Ludus, and, we continue to focus on customer feedback and customer needs and roll out new features almost on a weekly basis right now. So what I'll do is share my screen and just kind of jump in. I'll first give you an overview of who we are, Ludus. So we have a few Ludus customers on here, and then maybe some potential Ludus customers. So I'll first just introduce Ludus, tell you what we're all about, and then we're going to kind of focus on how we can go beyond ticketing and how you can get more than just ticketing out of your ticketing platform. So I'll share my screen here. And if you
have any questions, just pop them in the chat, and then I'll relay them over to Zach.
Perfect. So first, brief, overview of what we have to offer, what we call our core features of Ludus. So if we go to our features tab on our website here, you'll see these different features, and these are what we call our core features. And then within those features, you can drill down into multiple different things. So like I mentioned, we started with ticketing. It's our bread and butter. We are a ticketing platform, but we have so much more. So we'll focus on a little more of that beyond the ticketing. But of course, if you have, like Kevin said, if you have questions about ticketing, feel free to ask those. And we will sprinkle in ticketing throughout here because all these features kind of relate back and all connect around ticketing within this platform. Marketing is one of our more popular core features. So it's really all about staying in touch with your patrons, building marketing emails, doing marketing campaigns, the email blasts, doing automation. So like pre-show, after-show emails for like surveys and reminders, mailing lists. So I'll jump into the marketing feature once we jump into the actual product. We have fundraising tools. So not only can you collect one-off donations and recurring donations, but you can also set up fundraisers with goals, and you can fundraise towards certain things like renovations, new floors, whatever it may be, you can fundraise toward those things. And we also have our collections feature. So this is a way to collect payments for things beyond ticket sales. So if you're doing any registrations or you have member dues, you're selling ads, you have venue rentals, you can use our collections feature to do that. And you can build custom forms and collect whatever information you need, and it'll compile all that information into an easy report for you. Our passes feature. So this is taking the idea of flex passes, season tickets, and memberships. No matter how you do them, more than likely you can do it here in Ludus. So we have our flex passes, people get a code, they can use it throughout the season. You can set limits. How many tickets do they get? How many tickets can they use per show? It's totally up to you. Very flexible on your end, flexible for the patrons as well. And then we have our classic season tickets, whether it's the same seat for every same performance throughout the season, or they can mix and match. You can do that through season tickets. And then we also have a memberships feature for unlocking certain perks like early access, paying no fees on tickets, discounts, unlocking certain prices. So creating a great member experience for your members. Our classes feature, really great way to extend our collections feature and have registrations and signups for things, but also have like student and parent profiles, tracking information, saving information to those profiles. So like allergies, accommodations, all stored in the same spot. So you always have that in your database, all within your Ludus platform there. Reporting, super important. So we continue to evolve and improve upon our reporting. You have a lot of different reporting needs, all the different data needs. Everything in Ludus is real time. So as soon as you sell a ticket, as soon as a donation is made, as soon as somebody registers for something, it updates your reports in real time. So there's no delay. When it comes to getting your payouts, you can get your money daily, weekly, monthly via direct deposit. We can send paper checks, lump sum paper checks. We can do lump sum direct deposits. Whatever works for your organization, we can do. And we also have streaming, as Chuck mentioned. So we do have our Anywhere Seat platform. So if you ever want to sell tickets to a live stream or a pre-recorded production, that's what Anywhere Seat can be used for. And then lastly, our newest, most popular feature now is volunteer management. So this is a way to really engage your community and save time. We built this around the idea of increasing engagement within our communities. As we know within the community theaters, we're seeing a decrease in volunteers, or a lot of community theaters are seeing that. And so the idea was, what happens if we could get those volunteer opportunities in front of people when they're buying tickets, when they're interested in what we're doing? Let's get them interested in ushering, like working the box office, working in the concession stand. And so this allows you to simplify your volunteer signups, replace Sign Up Genius. You can have roles and different shifts. But most importantly, you can track hours and generate reports, which is really, really great for grants. So a lot of cool things that we can do with volunteer management. And like I said, it quickly became one of our most popular features. So many great ideas have come in. There's a clear need for something like this, especially in a platform like Ludus. So we're super, super excited about this side of the Ludus product. So overall, instead of just showing you a bunch of pretty graphics, I'm going to show you what the actual product looks like. So this is the Ludus admin dashboard. This is where all the magic happens. This is where you can add in your events, manage your ticket sales, generate reports, issue refunds and exchanges, use our CRM features to track your patrons, and then all those other core features that I went over, you can do so within your Ludus admin panel. To note, there are two different sides to your Ludus account. So there's the admin side, and then there's also the patron side. So this is what your patrons are going to see when they go online. You can brand it. Here's an example of another one. So you can customize it with colors, and you have all these different tabs. So like this account's just using every single thing that we have to offer. So a lot of great things. And so it's just a one-stop shop for your patrons, which is really, really great. And it just increases the patron experience. We also do offer an embed widget. So if you don't want to link over to Ludus and you want to embed a selling widget right into your website, we also offer that as an option. But for now, what I'm going to do is first just go through some of those core features and show you how they work. And then there are some other newer features that I want to show you that's part of ticketing, like our ad manager, which is a great way to generate some additional revenue for your organizations. So the collections feature. As I mentioned before, this is a way to collect payments and registrations for things beyond ticket sales. So you see here, I have a few different things. One, for example, is ad sales. So I created this ad sales form, and you can set payment deadlines if you'd like. So if you're like, hey, I need to collect all ad sales by this specific deadline, you can do that. You can have files that they download. So if they have to like fill out like a manual form, you can do that if you want. But what we really recommend is just creating a custom form right within here. So kind of like a Google form, you can build it right within Ludus. So you can collect whatever information you need. You can collect their business name. You can have upload forms so they can upload and attach their file right here. So then you'll just get a report and it'll have all the ads that have been submitted. And then if we go over to pricing here, setting up those different ad sales. So I have a really simple example. I just set back cover and quarter page. But what you can do is that you see that we can have different limits. So we can set up these different like types, different, whether it's a member due, it's an ad type. We can go here and set in those prices, and then people just choose which fees do they want to select when they're filling out the registration form. And you can also limit. So like on a back cover, you may only have spot for one large ad on the back cover. You can limit that to just one, and then the inventory is set to one. So then it disables right after that first one's sold. So a lot of cool automations there that you can do within, the collections and the fees. Within the collections feature, using things like the submissions report, like I said, we can pull up the submissions report and we can see all this information here. But you also see that this is invoiced. So we do have an invoicing feature, which I'll go over in a moment. But it allows you to generate invoices for other businesses. So you might enter all their information and send them an invoice, and then they can pay by check or cash or whatever it may be, or they can pay their invoice online. So some really cool things that you can do there. We also have things like some automation. So throughout Ludus, there's automations to reduce work on your end. So being able to automatically turn things on and off at specific times. You can passcode protect things. So if you want to send out a link and only those with the passcode can unlock certain things, you can do that. And you can also use our messaging feature. So, maybe next year you want to send a message to anyone who bought an ad last year. You can do that through the messages feature and send them a link to the new collection form. The other part of the collections feature is classes. So this is a great way to do your workshops, to do your summer camps, collect all that information, and then you get a class roster. So using this class roster here, like, okay, unfortunately I only have one person signed up for my improv workshop right now, but we have this student here and we have all their information in this form. But what's really, really great, and this came from Kalamazoo Civic. So we built this specifically for Kalamazoo Civic because they did all these educational things. And so we did this for them, and we did this thing called a per page printout. So a lot of times you have these instructors and they just need a quick sheet of like every single student that's in their class, especially during emergencies. If there's an allergy, something they need to know, they need emergency contact information, you can go in and print off these quick sheets and just have a booklet of all the students. So some just really cool ways of thinking about these different features and how different organizations and community theaters go about like things like workshops, for example. And then that connects to their student profile. So we can see all the information. We can have whatever custom information we need on a student profile. So if you need to collect like shoe size, you need to collect pronouns, you need allergies, whatever it may be, you can do so with our custom fields that you can connect to your student profile. So if you've ever used a CRM, you can use custom fields like that as well with our student profiles. And then beyond that, if you are working with youth students, you can also connect to their parent profiles, and it'll have all that contact information. And then also, if you send out messages around your classes, like reminders or whatever it may be, important information, you can choose for not only the student to get it if they have an email, but also any connected parent, whether that's a grandparent, their direct parents, whatever it may be, you can have all those additional parties connected to a student. So just a really great communication tool when it comes to classes.
It's really great for things like if you need to get permission for photos, you can take that right in the form there. And if you have a student that takes 2 classes or classes the next year, their information's in the system. So when they go to sign up, they'll have that information. They won't have to fill all of it in, just update what they have.
Exactly. So jumping over to fundraising and donations, you all always want to bring in more money, right? More opportunities to get ways for people to donate to your organization, the better, right? So we have our fundraising tools built in. So like I said before, one-off recurring donations, monthly, annual donations, you can do so in Ludus. We can pull up donations here. It's a 50-cent donation, so whoopee. But we have this recurring info here, and so we have we can see that they frequent yearly donation. We can see how many times they've donated. We can pull up their profile, so I can pull up their patron profile here and see all of their history. So clearly, this is a newer patron of ours. But what's really nice about our CRM tools is that every single thing connected to your patron you have on their patron profile. So all that data is connected to your patrons, including the fundraisers. And the reason that's important is that we also have things like levels. So you can track those different levels of your patrons. So those who have donated $50 might be bronze, 250 might be silver. And then you can do certain things like different notifications, different emails, different forms that they fill out for those different levels. How do you want to be listed in our program? You can do that with the the levels feature and the donations and the forms and all that all tied together. And then on the settings page here, you can also do things like corporate donations. So if you want to differentiate between individuals and corporate donors, so you can do so. And we can also do different things, a donor plea at checkout. So, they're on the website, they're buying tickets. Maybe we want to have a donor plea to encourage them to make a donation. On top of that, we also remember who they are. So if they come back a year later and they're buying tickets and it's like, hey, remember when you made that $100 donation? Would you like to do that again? They click yes, and they'll add $100 to their cart. So just little things that we sprinkle into the checkout and the patron experience to increase your donations goes a long way. And then lastly, really great to know, utilize the confirmation emails, clear up some time for yourself. You can put in your nonprofit information, the tax ID, for that donation receipt. But you can also track your acknowledgement letters. So using the acknowledgement feature, acknowledged here, I can say this was acknowledged on today. So that means that we sent them their acknowledgement letter. So we can track that, all within the Ludus platform. Newer this year, we've also rolled out some improved reports around donations. And so we have our, basic report. This is just like all of our donations coming in and all the different information attached to it. But we also have a donor summary report. So we can generate a report within a certain time frame. So if we want to do like the entire year, we can generate that and see all of our donors and our top donors. And then we can pull up their report and then see those individual donations. And then we can export if we'd like. But my most favorite report is the lapsed donors report. So we now have a way to do live bunt and side bunt reports within Ludus. So they donated last year, but unfortunately not this year. Here it is. And then there's also some year, but unfortunately not this year. And then you can also set your fiscal year. So within whatever range it is, you can track that, right within these donation reports using the time ranges here. So really cool feature, very fast, as you can see. Lots of cool updates when it comes to our donation reports here. And then lastly, as I mentioned, we can also create fundraising pages. So if I pull up K-Mill here, which is one of our demo websites, we have like a venue renovation. So you can build these custom fundraising pages and set a goal. You can create custom information. You can create, an about video, an about page. You can also post updates. So you can send updates to your donors and keep them in the loop on how things are going, especially if they've donated. It's always great. And then people can also post public comments. And then when the fundraiser is live, there will also be competition buttons. So I can choose to match this donation here or beat it so I can make it to the donor wall. So there's some competition to encourage those donations as well. So that's the fundraising tool. If you do have any questions, again, throw those into the comments and we can definitely get to those at the end. The next feature is our marketing feature. So as I was talking about before, we can build those custom marketing campaigns. And this is a feature that we continue adding to and improving because it's becoming so popular to just roll all of your marketing stuff into the same platform that has all of your ticketing and your patron data, right? Instead of having to export to another platform and sync the data, ensure everything's up to date, having everything in one spot when it comes to your marketing is really, really great. And so what we can do is we can create custom campaigns here. So like, let's say I want to do a sales push for a fall showcase. So what I'll do is I'll set up our campaign name and click next. So we can choose from some pre-existing templates. We can also choose from prior campaigns that we've done to use those as templates. So I'll click next. And now we can choose the audience, which I'll get to in a moment. So we can segment your patron data and target specific people. And just like any mail platform, you can set the subject line so we can, tickets are going fast. And then we can customize the email. So we have a drag and drop email designer right within Ludus. And so here we can drop things right here and we can do different columns. We can add in logos. We can do direct links. So we can do a custom link, or you can use our built-in special links feature. So if you want to link directly to like fall showcase, you can. It will just automatically generate that link for you, so you don't have to open another tab and get that link. So a lot of quick actions there. So we design our email, and then we can choose to immediately send our email to everyone within that patron list, or we can set a custom date for that to go out at a specific time. So I'll set that live, and we'll give it a second to do everything. And now our campaign is scheduled to send later this evening. Another option that we have are mailing lists. So if you want to collect your patron interest, you can. This is a really great way to have people say, yeah, I'm interested in comedies, not super interested in straight plays, whatever it may be, or musicals. They can subscribe their interest, or maybe they're interested in volunteer opportunities. We can have people subscribe to those mailing lists and then segment our patron data that way. And then one of my more favorite features about marketing is automations, because this is just such a great way to engage your audiences. So number one, you can preset, you can send pre-show emails, reminders where to park, what door to use. But you can also send after show emails. And this is where it gets really powerful, because we can build a custom email, just like we did with campaigns, and include a donation link, especially when the show's top of mind. They had a great time, throw in a donation link, but we can also do surveys. So we can build a custom survey form in Ludus, link to it directly, and then people can fill out that survey, which I'll cover in a little bit. So just some really, really cool things that you can do with automations and really like take some work off your plate. So that's the marketing tool. I also mentioned audiences. So we have all this patron information, right? Like I said, every single thing that your patron does, they buy a ticket, they make a donation, we track that information on their patron profile through our CRM tools. So I have this large database of all my patrons. I can see different information about them, very slick tool to use. And if we pull up a profile, if I find a good one, let me find or actually that one's going to take forever to load because it's mine, like with the 10 years worth of data. So let's do this one. So here's like Bruce Wayne. He's bought some tickets in the past. We can have different information, so we can attach different information to their profile. But also what's really important is we can see that order history. We can see what events they've attended. We can see what donations they've made. And we can also see their history. So we can see when they place orders, when they've added tickets to their carts, if they've abandoned their carts. We can see if they've received our marketing emails and when they opened our marketing emails. So we have all this data. What do you do with that data? And that's what the audiences feature is great for, because we can create these segmented lists. So for example, I have this donor list, and I have this simple rule that just says number of donations greater than 0. So just anybody who has ever donated. I have a list here, and then I can use that with the marketing tool and target just these specific people. But other rules that I can add in are number of tickets, so I can target our top patrons. I can see anybody who's a pass holder. I can see the total events that they've attended or specific events that they've attended if I want to target people who have attended musicals in the past. And then you can also do things like patron tags. So we can go to a patron profile and mark them as a VIP. And now we can set this filter and we can see, okay, so these people have donated and they also have a VIP tag So there's that. Also, I'm realizing there are quite a few Bruce Wayne profiles here. So maybe there's a chance for us to clean up our data a little bit. This is a newer feature that we've recently added in over the past couple months. So we now have a way to manage your patron duplicates within Ludus and keep your data clean. So we have a really smart tool that allows you to review these potential merge opportunities. So here's Bruce Wayne. He used his not Batman at ludus.com and not Batman at gmail.com. It's a pretty good chance it's the same person. But I'm going to pull this up. And first I'm going to choose, okay, what record do I want to keep? Most recent activity was June 7, and this one was 2023. So clearly he's using this more often. So I'm going to choose to keep this one. But what's really cool about our CRM is you can choose which one to keep. A lot of CRMs, you have to like go into the profile, the right profile, and merge. You can do whatever direction you want. And we can also keep secondary emails. We merge profiles, and now it just merged that profile together and kept all that data intact, and then combined all the order history and activity within to that one profile. So just some really, really cool CRM tools that we're rolling out this year. We have even more CRM updates coming in the next couple months. So if you definitely are looking at Ludus, keep that in mind and ask about what's coming next. And then lastly, just households. This is really important. When it comes to CRM and keeping track of your patrons, households is also a great feature. So you can merge your patrons under these different households here. So that's our patron side of things in the CRM. But earlier I also talked about invoicing. So invoicing is a great way to send invoices to different patrons and organizations, especially groups that may be buying tickets in bulk. Maybe you want to build their order and then send them, their $2,000 order so they can pay by check. That's what our invoice feature lets you do. And so you can go in here, you can set your normal invoice stuff, payment terms, and then you can upload your logo, design your invoices, and then it'll send that invoice to those patrons when you generate it. So for example, let's say the fall showcase here. I'm going to select some tickets. So we have a patron here, and they want the entire back row C here on section 1, but they want to pay by check, and they're calling over the phone. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add their tickets to my cart, and I'm going to click, instead of doing our default payment options, I'm going to click create invoice and verify everything looks good. I can add a memo if I'd like. Send invoice, and what just happened is they received an email with a link to their invoice, so they can print off the invoice PDF. If they decide to pay online, they can absolutely do so, and then we can pull up that invoice and we can see, is it pending, or if they send us a check, all we do is go to collect payment, and then we can choose our method here. So I'll choose checks. I can put the check number in the memo and then mark it as paid. You can also do partial payment. So if they can't pay fully up front, you can also enter a partial amount and collect partial payments until they pay that invoice in full. And then once it's paid in full, what it'll do is it'll open up those tickets and generate the actual tickets in the system. And here's an order where we can print the tickets for them. So here are like some tickets that we'll print, or if I just want to send them digitally, I can just send them via text, and now they just got all their message or all their tickets. So some really slick tools around invoicing and generating those for your patrons. Gift cards, another feature. If your organization wants to do gift cards, we highly recommend this. This is a great way, especially during Christmas time, to sell gift cards and to gift cards to others. So that's what the gift cards feature is there for. It's really self-explanatory. They receive a code and they enter a code when they're buying tickets online. So like any other gift card platform, they'll understand it. Seating charts, as you're looking at ticketing platforms, we do have our seating chart maker. If you're an existing Ludus customer, we have, continued to roll out new updates to our seating chart maker, more and more things like reservation templates. So if you're always blocking off the same seats for every performance, you can create a seating chart and automatically generate those seat holds every single time you generate a new performance. So some really cool things there. And if you're new to Ludus, we do have a drag and drop seating chart maker that allows you to edit your chart. You can drag things around. But what's also really great is you can do table seating. So if you're ever doing a dinner theater or a banquet of some sort, a gala, you can do table seating, drop it in here, and people can select their seats and their meal choices for those different events. Another feature, so passes, every ticketing platform should have this, so you probably are all quite familiar. So I won't spend a lot of time on this, but like I said, we have flex passes, season tickets, and memberships that you can do. They're super easy to set up. You choose what events you want to have part of your flex passes, really allowing you to build your membership base. If you do have questions on the passes feature, it can get pretty advanced depending on your needs. So we highly recommend, scheduling a time with our sales team and just telling them, hey, this is how we do our season tickets. This is how we do our flex passes. And they're product experts. So they'll help you figure out the best setup for your different passes within Ludus. But it's a very, very flexible tool within our platform. But the feature I really want to hit upon are two different ones here. I'm first going to jump to forms because it's going to tie into our volunteers in a moment. Our forms feature is really nice because it kind of operates like Google Forms. So we can create a custom form. Like I had that ad sales form. I can pull it up here and I can, drag things around and build my custom form. What's great about this is I can get a direct share link to a form. So maybe I don't want it attached to a collection. I don't need to collect payments, but it's something more of like a survey, for example. We can create these custom forms and just have people fill out a form. So very similar to Google Forms, you can do that. But the benefit of this is it's also tied to your patron information. So you can choose to collect the patron information when they fill out the form, and that's going to attach their patron profile. So when you pull up that patron, you can see every single form that they've ever filled out in their history, all attached to their patron profile. So just some really, really cool things about around the power of having all these features and all this data connected in one single platform. So jumping to the volunteers feature. As I mentioned before, it's our newest core feature, has become very, very popular. And the idea is to collect volunteer signups online and to encourage those signups. So I've created this volunteer opportunity for the fall showcase. And I have these different roles. So if I go to edit my volunteer opportunity here, this is for our fall showcase. So a few different things that we need help with. We need some ushers. So we need 4 ushers per shift. We need 1 box office person and we need 1 concessions person. If we need to add some other roles, we can. So maybe we need a set builder at some point. We can also generate those things. So thinking beyond just like, day of show things, if you need help throughout a season, you can do that. And so we create these different opportunities within Ludus. And what happens is when somebody goes online, and they go to volunteer. I gotta move this thing out of the way. They go to volunteer. They will see that volunteer opportunity and they can choose to register for those things. And what happens is they fill out their information. So let's say, oh yeah, I want to usher. So I'll fill out my information here and I'll click continue. Oop. Obviously I wasn't born in this state, but we'll set that for now. And then we can collect other information. So maybe we want to know the t-shirt sizes of our volunteers because every volunteer gets a t-shirt. We can say, how did you hear about this opportunity? When buying tickets, awesome. We know it's working. I agree, yes. And then I'm not a robot. So this is a custom form I built. You can put whatever information you need. And then we're going to register for the event. And so what just happened is, I must have already registered for that shift in which I did now that you say that, now that we see that, I already registered for that. So that's good to know. But I can also register for this. So let me try again. Continue. And so we'll just fill out this form again. The nice thing is it also will remember a lot of this once we do it. So I must have already did these. So my apologies. But what we can do, yeah. So okay, here we go. So should have checked this first. So here I am. So I'm the volunteer as the usher for this opportunity. And you'll see here, this is my volunteer profile. So I just got to move this Zoom thing out of the way. So here's my volunteer profile. We can track birthdays. We can see all the different roles that they're interested in doing. So I can also say, yeah, Zach can do concessions. So I'm going to click next and add concessions to his profile. And then I can see all of, the prior volunteer signups and opportunities that I've done, that this patron has done. And then we can also see the different form submissions that they filled out, right within on their volunteer profile. What's nice about these roles is that we can also use these to generate list and mass message people. So maybe we we need some people, we need some ushers, and we're not getting any usher signups. We have all these people in our database that have ushered in the past or have shown interest in ushering. So what I can do is I can say, okay, I want anybody who has set ushering. I'm going to select all, and I'm going to request to serve. So I'm going to say, okay, fall showcase, all shifts. We need some people to volunteer for this. So we just go through here, and we can create a custom message if we want. So we can say, hello, please volunteer, please, and send request. And now what will happen is it will send an email to them with a volunteer request for that shift. Or if we want to just send a custom message to anyone, we can also just do a send message button here, and we can compose a custom message to those volunteers, asking them, if they're interested in volunteering. So some really great ways to keep in touch with your volunteer database. And you can also keep track of all those past messages that you've sent. Under
What's
settings,
really great
yeah,
about volunteers is that this is on your main page as well. So you may find an
Mhm.
increase in volunteers because as they're buying tickets, they'll see that volunteer possibility and they can
exactly,
volunteer right there as they're buying their tickets. It's a great way to
exactly.
increase that number.
Yeah, exactly. And with these general settings here, I have a lot of public registrations on, so we can have anybody, register and sign up for these opportunities. Now,
Zach, we do have a
different,
question, Zach.
yeah, absolutely.
When they sign up for an event, do they get an email reminder for the events or opportunities they sign up for?
Yeah, yep. So when it comes to events, that's what the marketing automations can be used for. But they also receive their confirmation emails, which will also have like the events time and stuff like that. So it'll also have like those reminders built in there. That's what the automations can be used for. So you can collect or send all that like pre-show reminder stuff within those emails.
And what about for volunteers? Do they
Right.
get a
Yeah.
reminder of signups?
Right. Yep. And then we recently rolled out the reminders for the volunteer management. So they'll also receive reminders for those volunteer opportunities. Um, and then another thing to keep in mind is that different organizations do volunteering differently. So some prefer to have people first fill out an application, kind of like a job application, where you kind of collect all their information. Maybe you do a background check, maybe you got to review them, and then you approve them before they can start signing up for things. So we can do that through this feature, or we can just have anybody sign up for anything, kind of more like a sign up genius. So there's just a lot of nice settings here that you can turn on and off. We can have different messaging throughout things. And then we also have approvals. So you can choose to just automatically just approve anyone who signs up. Or if you'd like to say, nope, anybody who signs up for an opportunity, I'd like to review their profile before they can sign up for that. So they'll fill out their information and then we approve them for that shift. And then afterwards, when it comes to hour tracking, we can choose to automatically just log those hours, or we can enable hour tracking approvals. So you go in and after every shift, you can approve those different hours. You can even override the number of hours that they volunteered. And again, if we pull up a profile here, we can see the different opportunities that they've done. If you want to log hours outside of a specific opportunity, you can also do so and log that right within on their volunteer profile. Also great, if you're transferring from an existing volunteer platform, we can import hours into the Ludus platform so you keep all of your volunteer profiles and data intact within the Ludus system here. So that's the volunteer feature. And we have different things like different reports. So we can generate reports for our different opportunities, and also see like the total number of hours that have been volunteered for the different opportunities that we have. So that's that. Volunteers. So as I've mentioned, it's just really, really great to have all these different features bundled into a single platform, because not only does it tie all of your data and your information together, But it's also just simplifying and streamlining your operations, and hopefully maybe it even reduced your cost. So for example, volunteer management doesn't cost anything. It's 100% free. With Ludus, we have no sign-up costs or annual fees. So if you sign up tomorrow and start using our volunteer management, it will cost you nothing. So it's a really, really great feature to check out and get started with. Some other things that I just wanted to cover, especially around the idea of increasing, revenue for your organizations. One thing that's really, really exciting is our ad manager. So you can sell ads, and then you can put ads right on your tickets. And so what we can do is we can create a new ad, and we can choose a graphic here. So we'll say just Mamma Mia. Actually, we'll do the Ludus graphic. And we'll click continue. And we can crop this if we'd like. We can say, okay, Ludus ad. So Ludus sponsored our show. And then we can say, okay, this is the default ad for all event times, or maybe we have sponsorships for different nights. So maybe Ludus only sponsored Wednesday night. So we can submit this here, and then the Ludus ad will appear on every Wednesday night ticket like this, like so. So I'm previewing it, making sure it looks good. And then I click finish. And now we have this new ad created. So this is just a really, really great opportunity. So if you've never sold ticket ads before, this is a great thing to do. Not to mention that it also appears on digital ads. So like within Ludus, people can print their tickets at home, but they can also do digital tickets, so SMS tickets or email tickets. So those ads will also appear there. So when you're selling to advertisers, just say like, we can get your logo in front of so many patrons through these ticket ads here. So really great opportunity.
What I love about that is that you can tailor it to your schedule. So if you have a Thursday night that maybe not as many people come, that may be a lower cost. But then Saturday or your Sunday matinee, you can charge more for, because more people will be seeing those tickets. And each ticket can have a different ad on it.
Yep.
Zach, we do have a question for you. This is about volunteer management. If we want to see all who have done a specific job, can it sort the data based upon jobs done?
Based on like the role, for example, within
Yeah.
the opportunity. So we can go to the view report here, and then we can say, well, this one I only have one role, one person signed up, but we can filter it by the different roles within that opportunity. So right now, no hours have been logged, but once these shifts are complete, then it will generate these reports for us with these total hours logged. So you can generate down by the role specifically within those opportunities. We can also like pull up like current day reports or date-based reports. So if we want to like generate one for like the entire year, we can also do that, and then like filter it down by a specific role, and then see total number of hours for that specific role at that point.
So can you print off a list of people that are, say, ushering that evening?
Yep. So that's what the today's volunteers will do. So it will automatically generate a list for you that you can export or print of just today's opportunity or today's volunteers. In this case, I have nobody signed up for today. But
Great.
yep.
Now back to ad manager, a question. Can you do multiple ads on one ticket?
Yeah, so good question. Let's try that out, because I was just thinking that myself. I believe it will either rotate or it's on our roadmap. So let's see. We'll just choose another graphic. If not, you will be able to, because I know this has come up. Yes, so you can. So you can have multiple ads on the same day. So it'll rotate those or it'll squish them together on the same page there. So I believe you can have up to like 4 or 5. But also what I've seen organizations do, if you're very picky about how things are aligned or appear, what you can do is first just get all the ads from your advertisers and just like pull up Canva or something, plop it in all the ads onto one graphic, and just like upload it once as like one just like season ad or something like that, or show ad with all the different graphics on it. So that allows you some more flexibility, which personally, that's what I would do, just so I can choose how everything's aligned and how they appear.
I'm a big fan of the ad manager. It's a great revenue builder and easy. Zach, another question about volunteer management.
Sure.
can I see all people over a year? Let's say that we're tech people so that future shows know who may be available.
Can you rephrase that?
Um, yes. Can you see all, like if I want to see all the tech people that did tech this year?
Sure, that's a good question. What I would do is I would probably do a date range report again. And you can also get it to up to this from a reports tab. But what I would do is I would generate a date range report, and then I would filter down to just like our tech people. In this case, I don't have any tech people, but I can do that here. So it'll show anybody within like a year who did those, and then I can export that. Or if we just want to target people based on what they've done in the past. So if they sign up for like an opportunity, let's say like, okay, Clark Kent here signs up for concessions. If he hasn't done concessions before, it will add a concessions tag to his profile to know that he's done that before in the past. Or if we want to say, well, we know he's interested in concessions, we can also add that to his profile. And so what happens in that case is I can create this list of anybody who has done concessions in the past or is interested in concessions, and then mass messages them that way, which is a great way to get like new opportunities in front of people based on certain skill sets.
And then you'd have to sort it by one specific role. You couldn't do like two roles. Like if I want everybody who is a seamstress and an usher.
Yep, yep. So you can do that here.
Okay.
So we can have all of these, and then it'll just like highlight the different tags. Yep.
Great.
Great. Also, if you do want to transfer volunteer information over, another thing I didn't cover before, but we have a lot of great import tools within Ludus. So we have, if you've ever used like a CRM platform and you like upload like a list and it has you match the columns, you can also do that in Ludus. So we've built our own import tools for like patron information, for your volunteer information, or like if you're doing your patrons, importing your patrons, you can also use our import tools for that. So we really big on all that, the data management and keeping everything intact. So any other questions?
I don't have any here. Are there any? If there's any other questions, you can either turn your mics on and ask, or you can drop the question in here.
If not, I will, okay.
So you guys mentioned the payment is like free for most things. There's just like a
Yeah,
little bit for tickets and stuff, or
yeah, so that's how I was going to end my spiel here.
okay.
So kind of going over our pricing model. We operate in a market where, not every organization has a giant budget, right? Like you need something that isn't going to break your budget, or most preferably something that isn't going to cost you anything, right? So the great thing about Ludus is we have no setup costs, we have no annual subscription fees, and we have no hidden fees. We have very straightforward ticketing fees. So when a patron pays using a card, we pass on a fee by default of 5% plus 75 cents per ticket. What that does is it also covers credit card processing fees. We don't charge fees for cash comp and $0 tickets. So for example, if we pull up our free fee calculator here, let's say we have a $10 ticket. By default, if you pass the fees on to your patron, they're going to pay $1.25 in fees. We take this, cover credit card processing, and send you the full $10. If you prefer to absorb fees, you can also do that and eat the Ludus cost, and we'll just send you the face value of the ticket minus the ticket fee. And then we also have our what we call micro fee. So anything $3 and below just has a flat fee of 50 cents only. So we do have organizations and community theaters that sell $500,000 worth of tickets a year, and they never pay us a penny. We send them the full $500,000 that they process. So it truly can be 100% free to your group and your organization.
Patron sees that like fee when they check out if you're set up
Oh,
for
100%.
using the fee.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, 100%. And with some industries changes and some new bills they're trying to pass, that will become even more popular across any ticketing platform, with like full fee transparency from the very beginning to like where they select their seat, seeing those fees. So those are things that can be enabled and are already enabled in certain states automatically. So, yep. Great. When it
Question, how are the door ticket sales handled?
Yeah, super easy. So when we were building Ludus, we were literally building it in a box office, right? We needed a very, very fast way of selling tickets. So there are two main ways of selling tickets in person through Ludus. The first way is the new order button. So let's say it's Thursday night, it's Halloween night here, and we need to sell some tickets. And so what I'm going to do is we're in our box office, and our admin panel doubles as our box office selling tools. So we go here, and let's say that this patron, we want to sell this patron a couple of tickets, and they want one student ticket. And then when it comes to patron information in person, you can choose to enter all this information. You can choose to leave some of it blank, or you can choose to leave all of it blank. The big realization is sometimes you don't have time to enter everyone's email and phone number when you're selling tickets in person. You need to get people through the door, right? Or if you have an existing patron database, we can also pull up existing patron information based on their name, phone number, email, and then autofill that information. And so we'll click add to cart. And this is what the checkout experience looks like on the admin side. So we have these three different options. We can do a credit sale. So we can manually enter card information, or you can use a mobile reader or one of our payment terminals. So you can do like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Tap, Chip. You can do cash sales, you can do comp sales, or you can also set up other options like checks. So if you want to collect checks at the door or even do Venmo payments at the door, you can do so. You can add on donations, discount codes, apply gift cards. And then when you're ready, let's say they hand us 15 bucks in cash, we hit cash, so we can generate change if needed. And now we're on the confirmation page, and we can print those tickets, or we can send them directly to the patron's phone number. And now they have them on their phone ready to be scanned at the door if you choose to scan tickets using our free scanning app. That's one way of doing it. We also have box office view. So say here we want 2 adult tickets. We can enter patron information if we want, or if we need to get people through the door. Update, 20 bucks cash. Boom, we just did a sale in less than 10 seconds. So really fast selling tools for in-person payments.
Since we have a couple of time, there are a few other tools that we have that make things really, really easy. My favorite is the ticket transfer. So that if I buy 7 tickets for grandma and I want to make sure that everybody gets them, I can go ahead and transfer each of those tickets really, really easily as a patron, so that you don't actually have to do it and you don't have to hold them at the box office. They can go ahead and transfer themselves.
Exactly. So like I can go here, begin transfer, and I can choose, oh yeah, I want to transfer the student ticket to my kid. And so I'll here, and then I'll type in I don't know, I don't have a kid, but bob@ludus.com, and we'll click continue. And what will just happen is we can send it to their phone number as well, which is usually a little easier, but send to their email, and we can see this pending transfer here, and then they have 24 hours to accept that ticket. So they'll enter their information. If they don't already exist in your patron database, that will also add them to your patron database. So now you're growing your patron database. And then it'll take the ticket out of this order and then have them give them that ticket and generate like kind of their own pseudo order, essentially.
Super cool.
Yep.
I have another question for you. They'd like to know about the scanning app.
Yeah. So the Ludus Access Control, or actually the Ludus Box Office app, I will pull it up for the App Store and Apple. It's for Android and iOS. So here's our Ludus Box Office, and we'll go to iPhone view. So the great thing here is it's a mobile app. Not only can you scan tickets in it, you can do manual check-in. So if you'd rather just like manually go through tickets and check in people, you can do that. But you can also generate reports. So you can just get quick snapshots of your sales on your mobile device. And then you can also use this to pair with our mobile reader. So you can collect those payments in person through the pairing of the mobile app here. Or again, you can use one of our payment terminals, which is a larger standalone terminal. So lots of cool things that you can do within the mobile app, and lots of really, really cool things coming in the next few months. So
it's also really great for your house manager if they need to have easy access to who is sitting where.
Yep.
Another question, Zach, can you send ticket confirmation to phone and email, one or the other? Question mark.
So by default, it's automatically going to send to their email if you enter their email. But the phone number, if you just enter their phone number, then it will just send their tickets to their phone number. So if they don't have an email, for example, you don't have to collect the email. You can just enter their phone number and then it just sends the tickets to their phone number directly. So you don't have to have an email when selling in person, especially. Online, just as a note, when it comes to the patron experience, there are a lot of ticketing platforms out there that make the patrons sign up for an account and then they have to remember their password year after year and then they forget their passwords and it creates a horrible patron experience. What we decided to do is we decided to go passwordless. So we built a patron experience by recognizing people based on the information that they provide to us here. So this is the patron side. I'm buying some tickets. I have my patron information filled out. I click add to cart, and this is what the patron cart looks like. So we recognize this patron based on the information that they entered. I can add different things. I can add my discount, my gift card, my donation. I have every single feature enabled. You may not have all these features enabled in your Ludus account. But what's great is that when it comes to my account, so instead of having to remember a password and forget that, we just send them a magic link to sign in when they enter their email, and it tracks all that patron data within your database. So it's a much faster, smoother patron experience. And we hear this from a lot of patrons that it's just very, very easy to buy tickets.
The whole site is fully brandable or customizable, so you can have your logo, your colors. You can choose the colors to make it look like your website. Perfect example there.
Also,
you can also go ahead.
I was just going to say it's also mobile optimized. So like your patrons will have the same great experience, whether they're on desktop or mobile. Some platforms you can't select your own seats on mobile, but on Ludus, it's just the same exact experience regardless. So.
And even though we don't have much time to go into it, we do have other things such as our splash page maker, which is really great if you want to have the whole season all in one, different squares, or if you want to feature your cast. That's one of the places you can do that. They're under notices. You can also embed the whole site into your current website if you choose to do that as well.
Yep, exactly. So lots of great things. Lastly too, this is a newer feature too. So some existing Ludus customers may not know about this, but we also have custom fees now. So if you want to do custom fees for like a venue fee, your own ticketing fee, you can also create those custom fees and attach those to tickets or certain events, that kind of thing.
Yeah, one of the ways that we've seen custom fees used by a lot of community theaters is that they will up the ticket fee by a little bit and then absorb the fees and add a custom fee on, so that your patron feels like your fees are way lower. They don't mind paying the extra for the ticket, but the fees is what they have the problem with. And so you're able to lower their fees by using custom fees.
Yep. So you can offset those costs and all that kind of stuff. So just a lot of flexibility within the Ludus platform. Again, it was built around theater and community theaters and K-12 and all the feedback that we've received across all these different markets. So it's a really, really robust platform. So if you are interested in using Ludus, go to our website. You can book a demo, a phone call, or a 45 one-on-one demo, or you can watch our video demos and learn more about the platform. And we're happy to help you along the way. We have really great customer support, always a human there for you. Even 10 minutes before curtain, there will be a person there for you. So great.
Any last questions? Doesn't look like it.
No, it was very thorough. I think you've answered everyone's questions at this point.
Good. Awesome.
Well, I'd like to thank, on behalf of CTAM, I'd like to thank Zachary and Kevin for spending their time introducing themselves to us and their organization. And hopefully everyone learned what they needed to learn. I believe they'll also be in person at our fall conference on Saturday, September 21st in Midland. So if you have additional questions and are attending classes there, you can stop by and talk to them of this there as well. And we'll have our class information out very soon, so everyone can know what exciting things they can learn in person. So again, thank you everyone for your time this evening. And if there's no further questions, we'll let everyone get on with their evening.
Thank you, everyone.